Breaker 19, Sturdy Uncle Gary coming to you live. So, just going to do this short video to put a little faith back out in the community. I'm going to introduce you to a gentleman that I just met tonight. I was on my way home, and he stopped right next to my truck at an intersection and asked where he could get gas. So I instructed him where to go, and after a brief conversation, I said, I'll tell you what, follow me down to Stewart's in Arlington. So he followed me down, and come to find out, he is a veteran, and he has some stuff going on, and so I offered to pump his gas for him, and that's exactly what I'm doing now. Just going to get this short video, do an introduction with him, and stuff like that once I'm done here. And just going to show that there are good people out in this world, and there are people that do help others. I'm a huge supporter of any type of veteran, regardless of what service it is or what service they were in. I'm a huge supporter of them. This is your card and your receipt.
Thank you. Oh, look at here. Look what I hid. Look what I hid.
There you go.
I hid it.
Make America great again.
I hide it when
Exactly.
I travel,
Yep.
so people don't get in trouble.
It ain't, even if they do, fuck them.
That's my hat. You gotta remember, I was in Vermont when it was 99.9% Republican. And unfortunately, when Eisenhower came back to the States, he liked the Autobahns. So he built two Autobahns, 89 and 91, to Vermont. So that's the end of paradise. It went from all Republicans to Democrats. And that's why Vermont's not as wonderful place that it used to be back in them days. It's not a safe place to raise your kids anymore, and the police are a little bit out of control.
Yeah.
You know, and
No,
that's why they got the Icemen here going to the academy now. I shouldn't say that, but they're infiltrating the
Yeah,
PDs.
but you know what? I agree with it 100% because this place has gone downhill in the last, I'd say probably 10, 15 years. I mean, even when I was a kid, I can see now things that we had back then we don't have anymore because they drove it out of here.
My dad, during the World War II, he went to Connecticut to work at Pratt & Whitney Aircraft. He got recruited out of the plant in House Gale. And what's ironic is, I grew up in the ghetto, government housing, and I went to pretty much Hartford Public High School. It was primarily all black, but I got to get along with all my brothers and sisters, and I got through that. That's why I went into service at 19, and I got my time in. But boy, I tell you what, I worked with the Army, the Navy, the Combat Merchant Marines. I was back and forth to Vietnam for 6 years with Combat Merchant Marines, bringing all their ammo, all their.
Were you a truck driver?
Oh man, did I do that? That was when I was at Fort Benning, Georgia. I was a truck driver, Fort Benning, Georgia, because I was in the.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I was at that time. I was with the Fort Benning. Oh God, Combat Engineers. I was with the Combat Engineers in Fort Benning, Georgia. So I went through all my training in Fort Benning, Georgia, and of course, needless to say, I was in a motor pool. And when I was down there, whew, boy, I was all over the place. But then I went to Dahlonega, Georgia, to the Ranger camp up there because we were preparing for Vietnam with the Rangers. And we had to do a lot of work up there. In other words, that Ranger camp used to be all set up with squad tents. And when I went up there from Fort Benning, Georgia, there we put in they had platforms there and squad tents, all tents. And then we took them all down and we built the city. So now you go up to Dahlonega, Georgia.
Right.
It's like it's a military compound now.
Right.
And that's what we did at Combat Engine Town. And also, you check the record, we had down at Fort Benning, Georgia, at our compound there in the main post, we had the Overland train. The Overland train, where the tires were over 10 feet high, there's about 6 cars behind the main power equipment.
No
And
shit.
I was assigned to that because I'm a power equipment specialist.
Right.
And the Overland train is designed for Alaska flatlands and also for the deserts country, I got to do a lot. But the Gulf War, they called me. I was 51 years old. And they called me and asked me if I'd served God and Country Constitution. That's what's that, from Long Beach, California. I'm certified any ships, any tonnage, any seas, World War II vessels. So I did. I went over there and they hooked me up with the Vanguard, which is a tracking ship that found the shuttle with a school teacher in it, if you remember that, from New Hampshire. And then when I got through the Vanguard, they sent me over to Kennedy, and they sent me from there down to Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Bahrain, to the airport there. And from there, I went to Dubai, and Dubai is where I hooked up with a hospital ship Comfort, the United States Navy ship Comfort.
Right.
And as we speak now, Donald Trump, he's got the company, brought it into, because of this, what's going on right now. This thing's coming from China, this type of a medical issue going on here, which is a shame. And that's why I'm going to the VA right now, because to make sure that I don't have any of that. Because I have some problems that I'm dealing with right now. I think it had to do with more with Roundup than it had to do with...
Oh, I'm sure, yeah. It's
because I was in the hospital once in Colorado Springs, Colorado, when we were working on a water project out there, and you know what? Roundup put me in the hospital. And then in Denver, Colorado, we did a job there, and Roundup put me in the hospital. And what I don't understand, why the Bush family, why they brought all that Roundup out there, they're in denial. They're the ones that down in Texas, Monsanto Chemicals, and now they call it the Gulf Syndrome. And I remember just like yesterday, when I was on that hospital ship Comfort there, bringing all these poor young men and women aboard, Schwarzkopf, the commander-in-chief, you know, he got a letter on my birthday. The 1st of March was the end of the 100-day war over there in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and Bahrain. And you know what, ironic about that, Schwarzkopf got a letter the 16th of March saying, do not have any friendlies at 2 locations, one downwind of the use of depleted uranium rounds, which we were, and the other one is Qamishli in Iraq, which you don't want to be downwind of that either, because they blew up their chemical depot with the Roundup in it. And that's where we were. And the ironic part is all these poor young men and women on board the hospital shit like I was. I worked engine room crew, and I'm also a certified EMT.
right.
And, all these poor young men and women got what I got. I'm from the lower extremities, it's completely nothing. I got, you know, some here. But, I mean, I got it, what I'm saying. But, you see, the feelings aren't there. And as far as family, I already had mine, but I feel sorry for all them young men and women because they can't have no family. The Gulf Syndrome. It's ironic. I had a thing of my whole history in this truck right here. Somebody stole it here 3 days ago, and somebody called me and from Granville, New York. They said, "Hey, did you maybe lose a folder with all your information?" I said, "Yes, I did." They said, "Well, come on down here to the VA clinic down here in Granville, Glens Falls." No, Granville. Okay, so I did. And I met a young couple, and they had this folder of mine with all my information, including all of my Gulf War business and everything else, you know what I'm saying? And the Roundup business, all of that. And you know what's ironic is they said, we found this in a fishing hole down here. Somebody stole it out of my vehicle in Whitehall, Vermont, the home of the U.S. Navy. Somebody stole it out of my vehicle and brought it way down there and somehow abandoned it there. Probably they thought it was worth money or something. When they see it was just a bunch of book, they just threw it away. So I just got it back here a few days ago. And as we speak right now, I'm going to the Alamein VA because I have, I'm going to be checked to see if I got what they're talking about.
Right.
And make sure you're supposed to be 6 feet away from me, you know that?
Yeah, I'm doing a video, so.
Oh, is that what you're doing?
Yep.
Oh, you're supposed to be 6 feet away from me, buddy.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, because of my age.
Oh, yeah.
Because so whether or not I have been exposed to these people or not. Let's put it this way. I'm very, very wise to what that's all about. I keep my distance from everybody.
Oh, yeah.
I don't get any groups, nothing, because I'm one of the guys that work the medical services where they make the shots. They call it shots. So I'll give you some information I learned when I was in the medical services. You know, what you need to do whenever you got this type of exposures that may be coming your way, you watch for flags. The flag will tell you which way the wind is blowing. And make sure you're always not downwind of the flag when you're with a large number of people.
You go upwind.
Go upwind. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what my job was in the military, was not taking lives, but saving lives.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Well, thanks to my commander, he was actually Master Sergeant Major down there at Fort Benning, Georgia. he says, Don, he says, I don't see the instincts in you to do what you might be looking forward to. And I didn't know what he meant. And then he came to me and he gave me my orders. Landstuhl Army Medical Center, Landstuhl, Germany. Ach, du lieber Gott, das ist gut. So I spent 2 years at Landstuhl Army Medical Center in Germany taking EMT training.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, instead of putting people down, my job is picking them up and getting them back out there. I'm 80 years old right now. Okay, and the reason that I'm still pretty good shape is because I learned in the military what to do and what not to do. What to do and not to do.
Yep.
In other words, but the some things you can't avoid, like the teeth. That's from depleted uranium rounds. They told me down at White River Junction it was from alcohol. I don't drink.
I've never had alcohol in my life.
So I'll tell you the truth, down in, I hate to say this, the best medical facility of all the VAs I've been to is guess where?
Bennington?
Mobile, Alabama.
Oh.
They are the best. Did you know they gave me a waiver junction to 13 meds and only one of them was approved by the FDA? What does that tell you?
It's a money racket.
Did I say that?
Mm.
Oh, I didn't say that. So anyway, I see you got my cord. I just bought this for my daughter and her boyfriend, but I'm not letting them have it now until after this thing gets over with, you know, because
Right.
I want them to stay home.
Take care of themselves.
Hey, thank you. Nice to meet you. And just like I say, the Croppers were all military guys from back in the old days.
Yep.
And did you know, if you knew any of them, they were good people.
No, like I said, there's
Arlington.
a couple.
Some of them lived in Arlington for a while. I know.
Yes, there is still a couple.
That. Is there?
Yep. They're, as far as I know, they're not prior military, but I don't know them very well. But
no, they're too young.
Yeah.
But I'm talking World War II. The Crawfords, they had 4 or 5 of them. They were in a World
Oh
War
yeah,
II.
these guys are way too young for that.
Yeah.
These guys are probably, I'm gonna
I
say
remember
probably
when-
early mid-50s by now.
I remember when they came home, they dropped them off down there in Massachusetts at the big airfield down there. And from there, we'd go pick them up and bring them to where we lived in Hartford at the time. And then from there, we brought them to Vermont, bring them home, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the days. So we don't want that. What we need to do,
No.
we need to,
We need our country back is
Yes.
what we need.
good man.
We need our country
Yes.
back. I hate to depart. I
Yes.
gotta get going, so it's good to meet you. I do have rubber gloves on, just for the record.
I know that.
So we're good
But you know
there.
what? I got to learn anyway. Come here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the Corona shake.
Oh, you know about that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I work in a school, so it's we've been doing what we got to do.
Make sure in the school, make sure you're filling in on that. You got to, even in the school, what they shouldn't have these large groups
Yep.
all cuddled up together like that anymore.
Right.
They need to do like back in the early days, back when I was a young man, because of what was going on in World War II, and et cetera, et cetera. They had us separated, the kids were separated. And back in them days, guess what? We were able to do the Pledge of Allegiance and we were able to do the prayers too. Now I understand that Trump is trying to get them to do that again in schools.
Yep. They a lot of them stopped doing the Pledge of Allegiance. I always did it in my school because I went to school here in town. We always did the Pledge of Allegiance, but we didn't do the prayers. I don't know if the kids in our school are doing the Pledge of Allegiance anymore. I don't know if they
Let
are.
me ask you, what's this?
What's that? Oh, this is my video for YouTube. Basically what it is, I want to show that there's actually decent kids my age out there that actually respect vets. I'm a huge fan of any veteran, of any service, of any kind.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is, I support vets 1,000%. Not only being that my grandfather was a vet himself, but just because of the fact that nothing is free. And everything that you guys did over there came at the cost of you yourself and thousands and millions of other
I'm
Americans.
going to put something right up front with you. With me in the military, I was always certified EMT. I was always the guy to. I was trying. Who is in control of your body? Sorry.
Yeah.
Who's in control of your body?
Me.
All right. Done deal. So that means that if you're in any kind of a situation with a group of people and something is not right,
You got to protect yourself.
go home.
Yeah.
don't trust the heart, the brain. Don't trust the heart. Trust the gut. The gut says go home. You'll go home. That's why I got a TWIC card. You know what a TWIC card is?
Yeah, I've heard of them.
I got a TWIC card, and the reason is because it's a Homeland Security background check.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get yourself one of them.
Yeah, I've heard.
When I got mine,
I've heard of
they were
TWIC cards. Yeah.
Now they're 150.
Holy fuck. Hey, it was nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you, brother.
Take it easy.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Go right out here.
Yeah.
Go right down to 313 East.
Hold on. What's that? Say what?
Follow this all the way down through till you see 313 East.
313 East.
Take a left.
Okay.
Follow that all the way to where you see the on-ramp to go to 7 South. Take 7 South into Bennington, and
Okay, 313 to 17.
to 7 South.
Oh, 313 to 7.
Yep. And then go 7 South.
How far
and
down is this 313?
probably, I'd say maybe 2.5 miles.
Okay.
It's on the left.
Hit that, take a left, and then 7 South to Bennington, and I can take it from there.
Yep. You'll see a sign that says Troy.
Yep.
Troy, who's a.
I know my way around that area pretty
Okay.
good. I don't know this part.
Yeah. No, it's.
Good to meet you, partner.
Hey, thank
God
you.
bless you.
Take it easy.
Okay.
So there you go, folks. Chivalry is not dead. That is the one thing. I don't know if I mentioned this in my introduction video. That is the one thing that you guys will learn about Dirty Uncle Gary is I am a 1000% supporter, tried and true. Got my gloves on. 1000% supporter, tried and true of any veteran, of any service, of any kind whatsoever. What had happened was I was on my way home from my uncle's house earlier, and I was just right at the end of the road right next to my house, and this guy pulled up. His name will remain anonymous and stuff like that. He pulls up, and then he asked me if I knew where to get gas. So I told him about here at Stewart's, currently where I'm still sitting. And he says, whereabouts is it? So I gave him verbal directions, and after a brief conversation and stuff like that, I said, you know what? Just follow me down through. Just follow me to Stewart's. We'll get you hooked up. So I pull in the parking lot here. He pulls up to the pump, and he says, hey, do you want to make $5? And I said, well, what's going on? What's the deal? And he says, I got crutches right here, and I'm crippled, and I can't really move around that well. And I says, I'll tell you what, you put the $5 back in your pocket. I'm going to do this for you because you're a veteran. You've already paid the price as it is. You're not going to pay me to put gas in your vehicle. So he pulls up to the pump. I finished pumping the gas as I started in this video. Kind of a lengthy conversation. It's a little bit longer video than what I wanted, but that's fine. It's for a veteran, so you know what? That's more than fine with me. The one thing I do want to get across is if I ever see anybody or hear anybody disrespect a fucking veteran, you bet your motherfucking ass I will be right fucking there to tell you otherwise. Because let me tell you something. All the shit that's going on now, all of this fucking Democratic bullshit and all this Corona fucking whatever, everything that is going on now, every single one of you fucking freeloaders that are bitching because you can't get free handouts, let me tell you something. Nothing is fucking free. Nothing is fucking free absolutely whatsoever. Everything has a fucking price. That guy right there is paying right now for what he did in the fucking service. He is paying with himself, with his body, okay? All the things that he just said on this video that happened back when he was in the service is the price he's paying right now, okay? There are hundreds and thousands of millions of men and women that have fought and fucking died so that we can enjoy our so-called freedoms that we do every single day. I know I've mentioned that in other videos before, but I will continue mentioning them in my videos every time that I feel that it's necessary. So respect a vet, thank a vet. Don't ever let me catch you disrespecting a fucking vet, because I'm telling you right now, you will not fucking like me. And be honest with you, I don't mind. I don't mind. My grandfather was a vet. So that's all the more reason for me to support vets. Doesn't matter. They paid the price for us to have the freedoms that we have today. So without further ado, that's a video for tonight. It'll be uploaded. We'll catch y'all on the flip side.